Sri Lanka faced a significant protest recently, with demonstrators criticizing the current government for the hardships. Protesters voiced grievances about increased taxes, elevated utility prices, and a surge in living expenses. Sri Lanka's police used tear gas and water cannons to disperse an opposition protest in the island nation facing its worst economic crisis while gearing up for a national election later this year. A report. On January 30th, Sri Lanka's police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse the protesters who were opposing the steep tax increase and economic crisis in Sri Lanka. An estimated 10,000 protesters joined the demonstration called by the main opposition United People's Power Party. Sri Lanka's opposition leader Sajid Premadasa joined the protesters and blasted the government for imposing the most inhuman pressure on the people and pushing 22 million people into starving. Earlier, at least 2 courts had prohibited protesters from marching along roads leading to vital buildings including the President's office, Finance Ministry and the Central Bank. Instead, 2 areas in the capital were assigned for the protest.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවට එල්ල කරන්න පුළුවන් අමානුෂීයම පීඩනය එල්ල කරලා මේ රටේ ලක්ෂ 220ක් හාමතේ තබන කුසගින්නේ තබන පිපාසයේ තබන දුප්පත්කමට ඇද දමපු නීච නින්දිත තුච්ච ආණ්ඩුවක් අපි කියනවා රනිල් රාජපක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුවට අපි බය නැහැ.
Sri Lanka is struggling to recover from the unprecedented economic crisis that hit the nation in 2022. The crisis, which was started due to several compounding factors, left a large population of Sri Lanka multidimensionally vulnerable. In November last year, Sri Lanka's Supreme Court ruled on the country's worst economic crisis since independence. The court ruled that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his brother, former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, and several other government officials were guilty of mishandling the economy. The top court held that the respondents violated the public trust and fundamental rights of the petitioners. The common people in the island nation had called the court's ruling a right decision, but they had expressed their desire to see more actions against the culprits.
අධිකරණයෙන් දීපු තීන්දුව මහ ජනතාව පැත්තෙන් හරිම තීන්දුවක් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඇත්තටම හැබැයි මේක තීන්දුව දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේගොල්ලන් මේ වරද කරා කියන එකනේ. හැබැයි මහ ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ඒක විතරක් නෙවෙයි. මහ ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ ආර්ථිකයේ වට්ටපු මිනිස්සුකින් මේක ආයිපාරක් ඒගොල්ලන්ට දනුවම් දීලා හරි කමන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ළඟ තියෙන සල්ලි වලින් හරි කමන්නේ මේ කරපු වරද නිවැරදි කරලා දෙන්න ඕනේ.
Sri Lanka faces huge challenges to achieve economic stability in 2024. At the start of the year, the island nation raised its value-added tax to 18% from 15% to meet revenue targets under the 4-year $2.9 billion IMF program. That could spark a renewed rise in Sri Lanka's key inflation rate, which had eased to 4% at the end of 2023 from a high of 70% in September 2022.